Hey y'all, I hope you're doing great. We recently got back from a trip to Disney, so I haven't been real active on social media for a hot minute. Just trying to catch up with work, catch up with cleaning the house, and then we were into Thanksgiving and all that. But I was sitting here thinking about how I hope that most of my books come off as positive, even when my characters face tough situations. I want to offer some encouragement to my readers. I want to show them the joy that I feel just in this beautiful life that we're given. We are so blessed and fortunate to be born in America, to have a roof over our heads, to have family that loves us. There are people in the world that don't have that. There are people in our country that don't have that. So we should always try to find joy even through difficult circumstances. And I know it's hard if you've lost a loved one, or maybe you just lost your job, or maybe you have all these stresses pounding down on you. But at the same time, if you're having a miserable time, you shouldn't become a miserable cow that makes everybody else miserable, right? And I saw several examples of that when we were on our vacation. Most noticeably, one evening, we decided to go to Epcot. I love Epcot. It's got all the countries and the different foods and the adventures. You can learn about different places to go that maybe you haven't been. And Epcot's just a fun place. The food festival was going on, so we could try some different foods. What I didn't realize was that as we started to head back through the World Showcase, things would just come to a sudden and complete halt. I've always known it to be busy in the evenings. A lot of people come in just to eat or, have dinner or come to activities. But what I didn't realize until later was that it would come to a complete stop. It would be wall to wall people. You would not be able to move for, it took us a good hour to get through there, just shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Now, luckily at this point, there were no miserable people around me. Most of them were kind of like, what's going on? But they were being polite, they were being pleasant. We were all in it together. Nobody was really acting too badly at that point. Later on, I found out that the Beach Boys and John Stamos were there. So it was just bad timing on my part. We should have went around the other way. We would have missed all that. But then we got in line for the Skyliner to go back to our hotel, and the Skyliner was down. They had had some kind of either medical emergency or it went down and they couldn't get a part. I couldn't quite get the story of which was going on because different cast members told me different things, and that's fine. They may not have completely known themselves, or it may have been both things even. But it was down. The line was crazy. People were tired. They had finally gotten through that crazy mess with the Beach Boys and John Stamos, and they were ready to go back to their hotels. We were all tired. We were all cranky. People had small children that were crying and melting down. And there was a lady sitting over to my right, and she was on a scooter. So I'm sure maybe she was in some pain or wasn't feeling well, but she was going to make sure everyone around her was miserable too. She started off by complaining to a cast member who could do absolutely nothing about the situation and saying, no one is telling me what to do. Well, they had told us 15 times our options of what we could do. She just didn't like them. They had told us you could go over to the boardwalk and you can catch a bus there and go back to your hotels. We have buses coming that will take you, or you can wait till the Skyliner comes back up, or you can go back in the park for a little bit. I mean, they gave us several options, several times, multiple times. When we got in line while they were standing there, they were giving us options of what we could do. That wasn't good enough for her. She got on her phone and started loudly complaining, where we all had to listen to it, about how she was in line and they weren't telling her what to do, and she couldn't believe how horrible it was. The cast members weren't doing a good job, et cetera, et cetera. Ignored her through all of this because, like I said, I don't know what she's going through. I didn't want to be mean myself, so I ignored all of it. Then she proceeded to tell the cast member when she got his attention again, and there were all kinds of people yelling at the cast members and fussing at him. Nothing they could do about the situation, mind you, and telling him, this is terrible. We shouldn't have to wait like this. And she tells him, she says, I'm staying at the Riviera. I'm staying at the Riviera. That's a deluxe resort. You should make sure that we get back to our resort. You should put us ahead." And he kind of looked at her for a minute and he said, "I understand your frustration, ma'am. I understand." He did a really good job. He said, "But for the purposes of the Skyliner and buses and things like that, we just mix all the resorts together. We don't take one over the other. Everybody's in the same boat." And she says, "Well, that's ridiculous." And then she proceeded to get on her phone and complain some more to whoever it was she was calling and complaining to. And God love that person, because I wouldn't listen to it for 2 seconds. I would have hung up on her. But I just thought to myself, I hope I never get like that. I hope I always keep my joy in life. And there's times when I get frustrated, but I try really hard not to take it out on people that absolutely have no control over the situation. And so I thought to myself, what can I do? What's something I can do in this situation to maybe make things a little better? Because one of the cast members was just kind of moved over to the side and was shaking his head and put his head in his hands for a second and was, you could tell, was trying to hold it together. They're human beings, they're highly trained and they do a good job and they're patient with really difficult people who are tired and cranky, but they're human beings. And a lot of these cast members are young kids away from home for the first time in a college program, maybe even out of their home countries in a college program, working and studying and going to school, or they're, fresh out of school and starting their first job. They're away from their families, and people treating them like that, it's not okay. It just is not okay. And my mama heart just went out to him. And so I made sure to tell him he was doing a really good job and how much I appreciated it. And I hope that that helped the tiniest bit. Now, I had some people in a Disney group I'm in say to me, "You should have said something to that lady." That's not the way I roll. I'm not into getting into an argument with somebody I don't know. I mean, had she taken it to another level where she was name calling them or being extremely abusive, I probably would have said something, but it just wasn't quite to that level. She was more annoying and ungrateful. And the fact that she was being like that, along with a bunch of other people being like that, just didn't go over well. Like, for example, when they finally got the Skyliner running, they started to take the people that had been there first. And when a mom in another line, and I get it, her kid was melting down, she was stressed out. People would have let her go anyway, but she said, "I'm taking my 4 kids and I'm going, I'm out of here." Well, I mean, everybody would have let her go anyway, but she could have been a little kinder in how she said that. She could have said, "Hey, I know it's not my turn, but my kids are melting down. Can I please go?" People would have been like, "Go." Most people are pretty reasonable, especially with the mom with kids. And I believe one of her kids may have been special needs, and because he was having a terrible meltdown and he was just overwhelmed. And I don't think anyone in that line would have thought twice about it if she had said it in a different way. But she was overwhelmed too. So, I mean, I get it. I get it. And she wasn't outright mean to the cast member, but it was more the tone of voice. But there were a lot of little situations like that they were dealing with. So just don't be miserable. It's pretty simple. Just because you're miserable, you shouldn't take that out on everyone around you and make them miserable. And I hope that I get little tidbits of that into my books and my writing, and that I encourage you to be happy and positive. And if you're not happy and positive, to at least fake it till you make it. Put a smile on, do your best to be kind to others. If you mess up, go back and apologize later. I saw one person in that Disney group go on the other day and say, "I lost it. I lost it. I was overwhelmed. I was stressed. My kids were acting up. My husband was mad. I took it out on a cast member." And I went back and I apologized to him later. And I thought, it's not great to lose your temper with someone that is an innocent bystander, but if you do, that's the right thing to do, to go back and apologize and show them humans can be decent. So go out, enjoy your day. Don't be a miserable person. Try to spread as much joy as you can. And even if you're feeling bad, try not to spread it around to others. I love all of you, even if you are miserable and you've been making others miserable. And I hope that I can encourage you to do better. And I hope I can take my own advice and encourage myself to do better and to not take it out on people. See you later. Bye.